You're tuned in to Just One Hot Mom with host Nanika Ansari. Get ready. She's about to bring you that fire, that flavor, that heat, all that passion, and more from around the world and in your neighborhood. Stay tuned.
Hey, hot people, it's your girl Nanika and Sarah here of Just One Hot Mom, and I am on with Stacey Malone. Now, you may know her from the web series Now What, but we are here to talk about another topic. Hey, Stacey. Hey, it's always good to have you on. We have such great energy, and I'm so proud of you and everything the show is doing. In case you guys don't know, Now What has made its California appearance, so it's West Coast appearance.
Debut. It just showed in Decatur, Georgia, this yesterday.
Cool beans. So look, y'all, she about to get international on us. We got to get her in here before she gets real famous. And you know, she might like just drop us some little nuggets here and there. So, but today I invited Stacey on because I wanted to have a discussion with her. More and more lately I've been discovering that there are a lot of, especially I want to say African American women I've discovered lately who are suffering from endometriosis. And so, if you guys know Tia Mori actually talks about her journey in trying to get pregnant. Now she's pregnant for the second time, but she suffers from endometriosis. So I wanted to talk to Stacey because Stacey is a survivor. Right now she's in survival mode of this disease. But I thought it was like just recently I've met so many women who are suffering, and yet, you know, we don't hear anything else about it. So, Stacey, can you give us like some background as to how you discovered your diagnosis?
Well, it was actually a really kind of long road because it's not a quick progressing sort of disease. A lot of women, sometimes it takes 10 years before they even can get diagnosed with it. A lot of it is people not having the knowledge about it, number one. When it comes to women's health, it's always kind of, they really don't care about our health, to be 100% honest. They care about our when they talk about abortion rights, they don't want to do that, but they don't want to do it when it's about, our reproductive. Like, if you think about it, you have to pay taxes on tampons. You don't have to pay taxes on condoms.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to have, tampons and sanitary napkins. Those are necessities we have to have.
Mm-hmm.
But they really don't take women's health serious, I don't think. But how it happened was I started my periods, just to go back and forth. We all women here.
Mm-hmm.
We all
Well, whoever listening in know a woman, so.
Right. I knew that something was different about my periods. It's always been very simple, like 3 days, I'm in, I'm out. I have like cramps. Like the first day, it was like on point. It was every 28 days. I was regimented when it came to my cycle, So when I noticed that, number one, they started lasting longer, and so did my cramps would last longer than a day. And I still didn't think about it any more than just I'm getting older, our bodies change. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't look at it any different than that. And then about a year ago, I noticed I was having a lot of pain in my rectum. And that's normal pain.
Right.
People have pain in your butt, but no one, a pain in your butt is something you're like, okay, this is not normal. So I went to the gynecologist that I had, and I let her know this information that, I'm having really bad periods. I'm having a lot of rectal pain. And she said, well, let's try some different birth control pills. So she put me on some. But they were giving me boils when I was on the pills, and then when I would be off them, then I wouldn't. But then I would be on my period and be in pain. So it was just no kind of. I had no relief. So I just decided, you know what, I can't deal with these boils like for 3 weeks, and and they would go on my stomach. It wasn't like in the normal areas, like your underarms or where people would. It would be on my stomach. Like, who gets it on your stomach?
Right. Well, that is rare. I've never heard of that before.
You know what I mean? So I said, okay, hormones are not working with me. I kept telling the doctor I had, I'll say where I was at, Cleveland Clinic, and telling them, and they kept trying to do other things. I'm like, listen, this is not working. So I said, you know what, I have to go somewhere else. So I moved over to the UH system. I know some people it's like Bloods and Crips. Some people like Team State.
You know where you go where you can get the best care. That's how I feel.
Exactly. And I'm not saying anything bad about Cleveland Clinic. It's just the doctor that I had just happened not to be one that was listening to me, I felt.
Mm-hmm.
So in the instance, and this is for everyone, you have to be your own advocate.
Amen. Amen.
You know when you're not feeling right. You know when your body is not working correctly better than a person who just met you.
Mm-hmm.
So be always, if that person's not listening, find another doctor. It doesn't have to be a whole nother system, but I was at a desperate point of I just needed something different. So then 6 months ago, it started really getting bad. And to where the point where I couldn't get out of bed. I mean, just crying, to the point where I felt like I was going to die.
Mm.
Some felt like I wanted to die. Like it would just be better to just die because it felt so horrible. And they would last, all the whole time I was on my period. And that scared me because then every month it would progress to another symptom. Then it became where I was throwing up. And that's not
normal.
Right. Mm-hmm. Right, throwing up all the time. And then it would be where when I went to the bathroom, my bowels just so hard to use the bathroom. I mean, just like I was giving birth. It was horrific. Crying. Then it progressed to a couple of months after that to where my periods were so bad that I had to go to the emergency room at night and get morphine, and that was the only thing that would take away this pain. And it was a pain of if a woman has had a baby, it's like when you're in labor and you get those labor pains, and then you get that time where you get to go, okay, you've got like a minute before, or in between. There's no break.
Oh,
it's just like that ripping apart. It's not great at all. It really you get an endo belly, which is just pressure because you're just bloated. And so let me back up and go to what exactly endometriosis is. So what it is it's the lining in your uterus. So everyone knows the process of us having a period. We have a lining inside, and it thickens up, and then the egg is that's where it's supposed to attach when we get pregnant. When we don't, that is what's shed. Some reason, still they don't know why or how, but that lining seems to kick back out. And if you think, I don't have my hands, I can't do it, but the fallopian tubes are not attached as people may think. You have let's say your ovary is here, and then I'm just gonna do this. Okay.
It's okay. Look, she's getting medical.
I'm just trying to help you guys. So this is the ovary, and this is the fallopian tube. The fallopian tube just kind of does like this, so that it's open-ended, but the egg can come through and land, and these sort of things kind of grip it. Well, it's open-ended, so the endometrium comes out and starts to float around your body, and it attaches to other organs.
Oh.
And so some people have had it in their lungs, some people have had it in their bowels, in their intestines, in their bladder, on top of their uterus, just anywhere where it can attach. And what happens is every single month, that lining only has one job, and it knows its job. I'm supposed to, at this time, after ovulation, I'm supposed to get really inflamed, and then I'm supposed to bleed. That's what I'm supposed to do. And so even when it's on these parts of your organs, it is doing that.
So it gets really inflamed and bleeds. Oh, okay. Okay.
Right inside your body. Okay. So it's not fun. It's not fun at all. And so I started to notice that things were getting really bad, and I started researching on another doctor, and she was telling me, well, that you might have a thing called endometriosis. I never heard of it because people just say you have bad periods, and you just have bad periods, and you suck it up and you go about your day. That's what, as women, that's what we just kind of just know to do. But it's more than just that. It's so much more than that.
Okay, I have a question for you before you continue on, because you mentioned back before, because I don't want people to forget, that she switched your birth control. Did they attribute any type of birth control to being the cause of this? Because I'm curious, because I'm sure there are a lot of women who have switched around birth control. Did they say that was a factor in the disease?
No, No, because I really wasn't on birth control
Okay.
beforehand. And so that was what they gave me to try and deal with this pain that I was having.
Okay.
Lasting a lot longer. So they said, well, sometimes if we can get you on some hormones, and that's the kind of the step it goes through. It goes through your first thing is they go, okay, well, let's try some different birth control pills. Let's try that. And then there's other steps and other steps and other steps. So progressing, my period started to last a lot longer than a week. It was getting to a point where I was on for 2 weeks and off for 2 weeks, and on for 2 weeks and off for 2 weeks, and that wasn't great at all. So it was pain for weeks, and then I'd finally get a little bit of relief. I went out to LA for Thanksgiving just to be with family, and then I was walking in the Grove, and next thing you know, a pain hit me, and I was not on my period, and that scared me because I had never had any sort of pelvic pain before that, outside of if it wasn't my period. So then that really scared me because it's like, well, now I hate to say it, now what do I do?
You know that's gonna haunt you forever. Now what?
It's like now what do I do? I don't know what this is. I don't know, why this is happening when I'm not on my cycle. It's scary. It's like you're popping like Motrin like it's candy, which is dangerous too. So I finally go to the doctor, and she says, well, let me get you to a specialist. And I have an amazing specialist named Dr. Megan Billow. And she was like, okay, we think you have this. You're going to have to get surgery because that is the only way to really diagnose this situation. Now, at this point, I started having my period January 1st, 2018. I had not stopped having my period for 2 months.
Ooh. And see, I hear of things like that, like I hear of stuff like that, and then it makes me wonder, like, what do? You just constantly, like, that is a pain in the butt. I think I have like a 1 to 3 day period, and I find that to be like annoying. So to have it for 2 months, just constantly ongoing, and to have this pain, I know must have been really frustrating.
Yeah,
But when you got to,
and it was
go ahead, I'm sorry.
LA. I was going for
Oh, you were in LA.
I was in LA
Oh.
that month when I had to do for my screening, and I was in pain the whole time out there, so I didn't get to really enjoy LA. I just only really went out for that, for that event, smiled through it, and then came home, came back to the place, and was like, I'm just here, because it was that bad.
Was surgery the only option they gave you to kind of figure this out, or were there other options available?
No, that is the only way at this moment at how to diagnose it, because you have to have a camera in to see.
Okay.
They can do ultrasound, and that's how they found I had a cyst. Now I had a. You're gonna have to watch what I with the name of it. It's called a chocolate cyst.
Okay.
And what it is, it just the blood just fills up in there from all the endo, just fills up this. So that was the main thing that was giving me trouble, that I had to get that removed. And so they knew that they were going to have to do that because it was growing. And so they said, well, while they're in there, they'll check for endometriosis. But that's the only way you can see it, because with an ultrasound, that is sound. It's not really through, because solid things don't make a sound, or solid things make a sound because it bounces off, and liquid doesn't.
Oh, okay.
Like things
that makes sense. That's science.
Yeah. So that's what makes the difference with the light and the dark, is really the sound. And that's only because I've been in the tech room a lot trying to. So I've got my little MD a little bit there. So but yeah, so they have to go with in the camera. And what they do is a 3 sort of step, 4 different spots they put in my stomach. 1 through my belly button, 2 on the side, which is my left side, which was the worst side, that was giving me the most problem. And then 1, it's all microscopic. So, no one was cutting me from, sternum to sternum. Nobody was doing that. They put the camera in, and they can really see what's happening. And that right now is the only way to be diagnosed with it.
Okay, so here's the thing I think that sometimes we miss as women, and sometimes what our doctors miss, is that, 1, this is hard to go through as a woman. There is something physically wrong with you. How was your mental state at this time, though? Because, now you're like, okay, this is physically happened to me. How are you dealing with this mentally?
It's rough mentally. It really is. I'm still dealing with it, and I've been not feeling. You feel less of a woman a little bit, because you're I don't hate to say any other way, but like your insides are messed up.
Mm-hmm.
So you're feeling, For some women, for a lot of women, it hurts when people have intercourse with them.
Mm-hmm.
So women are married and they can't have sex with their husbands because it's too painful, but they have to have sex with their husbands. Or people who just like sex, so it affects you not feeling sexy because it's not something, you just don't feel sexy during it. You're bleeding all the time, you're in pain, so it affects you mentally that way. Like I said, again, some days I really wanted to like kill myself
I see.
because
So do you recommend that
it
people go to therapy while getting this diagnosis? Like, would you recommend that
um
you get like dual, like you have your physical doctor that's helping you to get the diagnosis, to come up with solutions for this, but you have your therapist who is actually helping you process this information and being able to coach you through like the feelings that you're having? Would you recommend that people go to therapy?
I think I don't think a therapy can ever hurt anyone.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? To be able to have unbiased person to talk to, or if therapy is not having just someone to talk to about how you're feeling. My mom was a blessing to talk to, about how I'm feeling, and the days of it is just more. It's not like I didn't want to be here. It was just the pain was so bad
Mm-hmm.
that you just like I was walking around the kitchen and there was this butcher knife. And I kept looking at that knife like right now, it would just be better just to stab myself
Wow.
than
That's got to be a
pain.
whole lot of pain because I know like childbirth, I think childbirth and getting any type of dental issue going on, and now this maybe like the three worst type of pains you can go through. I'm sure there are other pains, but I feel like because I've heard you describe it, I've heard a couple other people describe it, and they are like, it's like one of the worst pains that you can ever go
It
through.
is.
So when you decided to advocate for yourself, when you decided to say like, I'm not going to go with what this doctor is saying, I'm going to, how was it that, how did the medical community make you feel when you're like, look, we got to come up with some solutions? Because I think a lot of times that people don't go get diagnosis because they're scared that people won't believe them, that the doctors won't believe them.
Right. Well, like I said, it was, like I said, I think because we're lucky in Cleveland, we have a lot of different hospitals, not only just health systems, but even in those health systems, there are different hospitals to go to, that you can go to. You can go to Hoosier, or you can go downtown, or you can go to all the different ones, that we have. So we're very lucky. But I was lucky in the sense, in the second place I went to, I really kind of lined up with the right people who sort of knew about it.
Mm-hmm.
My doctor right now, my surgeon, Dr. Megan Bello, she is actually, they're working on having an actual center and getting that together, which is great. That I feel really great that that's the person that's working on me, because I know she understands this. There's something really wrong with us. We're not just being babies about our period. And they're going to talk about nutrition. Nutrition is another big
Mm-hmm.
thing. It really depends. And the craziest thing about it is that it's different for every woman. There's different stages. There are 4 stages. I'm in stage 4. It's like I said, it's a chronic disease, so we're never going to get rid of it. Even if you get a hysterectomy, you still won't get rid of it.
Wow.
So, yeah. So
So
it's
it's a
really
lifelong
because
process going through this disease.
it's forever. There's no, unless they come up with a cure. There's nothing that we can do.
I'm glad you mentioned
Right.
that changing up our eating habits, because I believe a lot like as we get older, we have to change up our eating habits. Did they say that age played a factor into it, or did race play a factor into it? Because it just so happens that lately I've met a lot of African American
Right.
women who have been diagnosed with it. Did they give you any data on that? Like, well, every 4 out of 5 African American women are walking around with
No,
it.
with this disease, it doesn't care.
Okay.
There are teenagers who have it.
Wow.
I'm on a lot of sites now, support groups, and there are teenagers, black, white, doesn't matter
Mm-hmm.
if you're rich or poor, you know, they don't, because they don't know what's causing this.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way to try and put somebody in, because it's everybody. It takes, there's 176 million women around the world that are affected with this disease.
And that's just for us not to have a, that's a lot of women for us not to have a cure. So you have to question, like, we fight so hard, like you said earlier, to find out about abortion and what we can do and not do with our bodies, but we're not getting the same fight back when it comes to helping us get diagnoses and cures for diseases that are just affecting women alone. When you think
Right,
of,
and the
go
thing
ahead,
about
Stacey.
it is that a lot of women lose their jobs. There's women who are in stage 1 and have it worse than I do. Like right now, luckily because of the surgery, I don't have any pain, any endo pain right now. I do have some surgery pain that I'm still working on because it was only about a month ago. And I'm still like really fatigued. Fatigue is a big thing with this disease too. You feel real tired. Um, so that's about the only thing. But there's some women who, I've seen they've had the same surgery as me and they still don't feel better.
Wow. So we've got
So
to
it's
find a
just,
way to support our community because my fear is that we as women, a lot of times we'll get a symptom for something and we'll just type, I'm just tired, or, I'm just going
yeah,
through it, or I'm just stressed out. And we don't take these symptoms serious enough to go get a diagnosis, or we're scared to go to the doctor. How can we as a community open up the conversations for women to really start taking care of themselves, like taking care of yourself mentally, physically, financially, but especially physically right now, because there are a lot of women who are on their last leg. They don't realize the signs of a stroke. They don't realize the signs of a heart attack. They don't realize the signs of endometriosis. What would you say to those women who are like, I'll go to the doctor whenever? What are you telling them, like, when they are keep putting that appointment off?
I don't like the doctor myself. Like I'm still like scared of the dentist. I know I gotta call this dentist and I'm like so scared. But we have to do it, especially if you have children. There is no question that you have to take care of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You have to put yourself, and I hate to say put yourself first. That is you putting yourself first. If you don't put yourself first, you can't be there for anyone else. Not your husband, not your family, not your friends. If you're not have yourself together. So if you want to be like, well, I don't have time for this, I don't want to deal with it. I mean, the sooner you deal with it, the better. Like, for number one, if I would have knew anything about endometriosis a year ago, I might not have been in the bad situation I am. When they went in, it was a lot worse than they thought. I had a lot of my organs because of the endometriosis. It makes scar tissue, and so my intestines, my bowels, my uterus were all adhesed together. So they were
Wow.
all amassed together. They were stuck together. So they had to remove that. My fallopian tube was so damaged they had to cut half of that away on my left side. My cyst got so big, and that's from me procrastinating, not getting to it, not taking advantage of it. I may have not had to have as much done as I did,
Mm-hmm.
but if I didn't go, who knows how much worse I would be.
So
So
since
sometimes,
I'm sorry, go ahead, Stacey.
sometimes we just have to bite that bullet, and you just have to take care of yourself.
Now, since being diagnosed, though, have you found a lot of women have come forward and told you, like, I suffer from this too?
Yeah, surprisingly, a lot of people like Sister Rose told
Wow.
you she had.
Really? In
Yes.
case you guys don't know, Stacey and I went to
Okay.
high school together, and Sister Rose was one of our teachers. So she came forward and she
Right.
told you.
Yeah,
Wow.
she had. A lot of other people have told me. I didn't, like I said before, I knew about it, I didn't know how many people I knew had it. I've had a few people in my family that have had it. Some friends, mothers have had it, and a lot of people. I could think that the awareness, luckily, was last month,
Mm-hmm.
and now I've seen the 5 commercials. There's like Endo Speak in an Endo study, which I don't know about that one.
Do you think
I
there's
don't know about.
a stain, a shame, or a stigma attached to it? Because why are we not having these conversations to warn our friends? Like, we do it for breast cancer. We know that every month you're supposed to lift up your arm, check both breasts. Like, there are multiple ways telling us how to do that. We know we're supposed to check. There are tests out here now that everybody's telling us, like, make sure you check for HPV. You don't want to get a wart and stuff like that, for herpes and different stuff like that. Why do you feel like we as women are not having the conversations to say, hey, girl, there are other diseases besides STDs and besides breast cancer that you need to be aware of so that you can live a healthier life?
I don't know why we don't, to be honest. It is true that we should. I mean, like I said, it takes a village, and because I didn't know about it, and hopefully with me showing my awareness and doing this talk, you having the podcast that you're doing about healthy moms, and just everyone else just trying to share the things that I share. I hope that will just pass along. The
Mm-hmm.
main thing is just pass along, and that's all we can do. It's just if anyone your friend is complaining and being like, oh, you know, I can't go out with you because because
I'm in
I
pain.
have pain. It's like, okay, well, how long you been having this pain? Because you care about your friends, so you're gonna ask. Dig into your friends, dig into your family. share the awareness. Anytime you see something, just share it. You don't even have to do a whole speech about it. Just click share and let people know about it. Like I said, I knew a girl in college. She had the same thing. She had a thing where it found out late and had to have a major surgery because of that.
Wow.
Main thing is just to get the awareness out there.
And see, I
The
think
more
we
we
should
talk,
start doing take your friends to work. I mean, take your friends to doctor's day. Like, we just team up, slap hands together, and we skip
right,
on off to the doctor because I get a feeling like that like I said, we as women take on so much. We want to be super women. We want to do everything, but we don't do the one thing that we should do to guarantee everything else. And that's like take care of ourselves. And so
right.
I don't know, maybe we'll have a movement or something where we just start getting together and be like, you gotta go to the doctor today? Let's go to the doctor today. Just to make sure that we take care of each other.
Because we know if something happens, the wheels fall off. We know it. We know the wheels fall
Nothing's getting done. Nothing at all is getting done.
like it will fall off and it will be over with. We need to keep ourselves together. There's too many, back in the day, there was not these technology that we have now.
Mm-hmm.
We have such great technology. I can't imagine the women that had to go through this before that little microscopic thing.
The guessing
They had to
game.
open.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, before the laparoscopers.
I know what you're saying.
No.
I know what you're saying.
I'm not gonna do no medical shows. I won't be doing none of that because I won't be.
But I'm so excited that you were able to come on because I know when I reached out to you initially, I was like, well, first, how are you feeling? Because the more I read up on the disease, the more I heard like it's an ongoing pain, like it never stops. And so I'm like, here I am about to ask this girl about get up all in her medical business to make sure that you're okay. But I almost feel like if we don't start these conversations, then there's somebody watching or listening who's been having this pain for a long time and who's putting it off. And, you just don't pay attention to what's next going on in your life. So, Stacey, let me see. I'm sorry, I lost the place where we was at. Because, once we get started, we get into each other's business. So what are the options they gave you for reducing your pain, though? Is there anything? Like, what's your pain management like?
So how real can we get?
Go rip the Band-Aid off real.
Okay. Well, all right. Well, there's a lot of different things that they have. The first is supposed to be birth control pills. Some of them are like you take 4 of them at a time, or there's a shot called Lupron that's supposed to send you into early early menopause, which number one I don't want to do. I hope I never have to go through that. But that one's also kind of like a small little bit of a chemotherapy, so I would suggest that one. The more that people are finding out, but the main thing is they want to try and control your cycle and your bleeding. Mm-hmm. So right now I'm on a regimen of kind of hormones called adjustrin, and I take 2 of those a day, and that stops my bleeding. So I finally stopped bleeding. Yay!
Yeah, praise.
I mean, it's just so wonderful not to. It's just so wonderful. So that was my big. I said I made a major move. That was my big move, was that I stopped bleeding. That was great. But then there is a hysterectomy, partial hysterectomy, that will stop you bleeding if you have a bleeding issue. But again, there's really nothing we can do to really get rid of it. Mm-hmm. Now, as in pain management. Okay, so beforehand, and I talked to my doctor a lot about this. Was a lot of Aleve, a lot of Motrin. You need a lot of anti-inflammatory drugs. Mm-hmm. High doses of those, because that's what it is. You're inflamed, so you need that anti-inflammatory to help out. Another thing
this must be the real issue, because she's taking her time getting to it.
Let's help me out. I'll start slow and we'll work our way. So I have got this CBD candy. And that's cannabis oil candy.
I ain't judging you, Stacey. I'm not judging you.
That's at the gas station, and it really does help. The CBD is the cannabis oil that is in cannabis that doesn't give you that that euphoric. It just really is for pain management. So that is what, like, they have the kids who get seizures and things like that. That's They don't give them the THC, which is what gets you high. So
Okay.
this is minus. Personally, myself, I tend to have no problem with the THC. So therefore, because
I
I'm gonna
can't
tell you
deal
this,
with her.
a lot of times, I'm not on it right now. A lot of times I would take my medication and it would take almost 2 hours for it to work. This is Midol, this is Motrin, this is whatever. I still got 2 hours before it even kicks in. When I smoke or have candy or edibles or something like that, edibles take a little bit longer, but if you smoke, it's more of an instant sort of relaxation I can have to come out of it before that pain.
Mm.
So I was doing that a lot because that was something I could. It was more instant and affecting my body and making my body feel relaxed and stopping me from having the pain. So that's what I use.
So since you said that though, why do you think it's so long? It's taking them so long to legalize marijuana. What it has been. Okay, I get what everybody is saying. Like, don't get me wrong. Like the negative effects of it. I think if you abuse
Right.
it, but for medical purposes, why are we as a state, we live in the state of Ohio, not signing on for this? Or why is it taking so long of a process? Why don't we have more
Well,
research into this so that we can get a cure? I mean, well, not necessarily a cure, but we can manage the pain of diseases like endometriosis.
well, the good thing about it is that we are this actually September of this year is when they will actually be giving the cards for medical marijuana. And I at this time, yay, right?
Mm-hmm.
I want to get so. But a really also good thing is I believe, and this was a woman from New York told me this, that endometriosis is considered a chronic disease, and because it's considered a chronic disease, it could possibly qualify us. But I don't know how if each state's going to be different. You know what I mean? Or if
Mm-hmm.
that's just a national thing. But a girl in New York and a girl in Minnesota, or is it Minnesota or somewhere else? But I know one girl was definitely in New York. She said that she got her card because it was clinically, once you have the surgery, you get a pathology report,
Mm-hmm.
and it will have endometriosis. So therefore, it's not just something that someone can be like, oh, I got endometriosis and go in there. You have to have this paper that will say, I have this. This is a chronic disease. I need to get a card. So they have it now where you can actually go online and start to put in for cards.
Mm-hmm.
It's not effective until September of 2018.
I just think it's a shame that we, like, for stuff like this, that we just don't actively have people fighting for us. Like, we rather fight over so many other things instead of, this is a real feminine health concern, and so we need to pull it
Right.
togety. Now, Stacey, before we wrap it up, like, before we wrap it up, I want you to think about the young lady who, or the old lady, whatever lady who's listening right now, who has realized that what you described is what she's going through. What are you speaking into her right now as she's watching or hearing?
Um, Number one, again, just your body. You know how you feel. You know when you're not feeling right. If you know that if this sounds like something that could be, you do some more research online if you want to. But I would say definitely call your doctor, your gynecologist, um, or either look for a specialist who is a surgeon. Like I said, again, amazing, amazing surgeon is Dr. Megan Billow out of UH. She's out of Ahuja. I love her to death. She's amazing. She listens to me. Um, so I would say definitely just consult your doctor because you have to take the steps now. The longer you wait, the more it could just get out of the pain. Just try to get out the pain as fast as you can
Okay,
because you don't
hotties.
have.
Well, you heard it from Stacey, and Stacey is amazing. One, how are you doing all of this? And you're a director, actor, writer. How's all it? Has this affected what you've got going on as far as your career is concerned?
Yeah, of course it did. It affected it a lot. Number one, just physically, trying to make some shoot days and cancel the shoot days because I physically just couldn't do it beforehand. So I had a couple of shoot days beforehand, and then I just woke up that morning like I can't do this today. I can't. Then also just mentally, like right now, whenever you have surgery, it's a battle coming back. I haven't been able to work out. I was really on a good routine of getting up, working out. But right now I know that the main thing is to focus on getting better and recovering. But it's like I want to just be back to that person I was beforehand. I miss her so much,
Oh,
and you know, I'm not going to get emotional,
You
but
can.
I just,
I'm here with you.
I just, I just really want to be myself again. And, I picked up weight because, all I've been going into is food to make me feel better because I have no control over anything else.
We are
I don't.
definitely going to be praying for you as a group, Stacey. And how can we still support you? Because I still want to make sure people are supporting the Now What web series. So how can we support two parts? How can we support you with the web series and your other films that are available? And how can we support you in the endometriosis community? So if you could take care of those two parts.
Okay, well, and endometriosis. On my Instagram, I'm pretty active on endometriosis, which is my Instagram is nzmalone81. And for that's also with business too. That's all just me, everything about me and all my personal and professional stuff. And then for the show, we have Now What web series. I think it's Now What underscore web series. That's on Instagram. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is 1221 Entertainment. I'm gonna start doing some vlogs. I had done some before, but I had been out of it. But I'm gonna get back. I'm trying to get
Well,
myself
we're
back
going to
together.
encourage you to get back on because for one, in case you guys don't know, Stacey is hilarious. She is a great actress. And so, you guys, we want to keep encouraging her to do what she does so that we can be entertained by Miss Stacey Malone. So, I want to thank you for coming on today. How do
I
you
want to say
go ahead?
all my Regina people that was on today. What's up, Regina Royals? Okay.
Yeah, we're Virginia
Sharon,
Royals
I
for
saw you
life.
too. Sharon, I saw
And I just want to take the time to thank Stacey for coming on and to share her endo story with us. Hotties, I want to remind you guys that it is up to us as a village to make sure that we take care of each other. If you know somebody that's going through chronic pain, or they mention here and there like ongoing migraines or ongoing anything, depression, anything where it's shifting them from being their normal healthy self, that this is out of character for this person, encourage them to seek help, encourage them to go to the doctor, encourage them to go to therapy, because all we're doing is taking care of each other and ensuring that we're here for the next generation. You guys are amazing. Please follow me on all my social media at Just One Hot Mom. Go on over to the blog where we're going to hear some more stories at justonehotmom.com. You guys have been tuned in, and guess what? You've been elevated. Talk to you soon.